Hi, this is Dr. Kimberley Linert, author of Visualizing Happiness in Every Area of Your Life and host of this podcast, Incredible Life Creator. And today I have with me Renata Mazu. Hey, Renata.
Hey, Kimberly, how are you?
I am great. So excited to have you on for a second time because we did have you on telling us your life story and all about what you do with your clients and about life. And today we have you on because you have a new book that just came out. So excited.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Mhm.
Yeah, but just so people know who you are, I'm going to go ahead and read your bio. So, Renata Mazu is a sought after business strategist, mindset expert, healer, speaker, and author who has helped transform hundreds of lives and businesses across the US and globally. She holds a Master of Science degree in Human Resource Development and has received extensive training in the broad range of disciplines essential for personal and organizational health and growth. Renata's no nonsense approach enables CEOs and entrepreneurs to rapidly and effectively clear the biggest mental barriers and challenges while allowing them to focus on growth. Her unique inside out approach not only supports business owners in building a strong internal foundation, developing a deep sense of inner security, confidence, and strength, but also in transforming their business for faster and easier growth. So I know that I have done some of your courses and they are just phenomenal. And now you have this book with all these tools in it. So I'd really like to get into it. But so just to start out, tell us the name of your book and give us just a short summary.
Well, the name is The Journey to Healing, and this is basically all tools in one place. Because over the years, I tried and tested the tools myself and with my clients, you including, and I decided that, look, everyone's talking about how we need to heal and how business and mindset are all related, but no one's really given the step-by-step things and all the tools that people can actually use in a simple step-by-step way, basically.
Mhm.
So this is the blueprint for that. Whoever wants to feel better, to feel happier, to let the past go, to make more money, to scale, because these two worlds cannot be separated, right? We are part of our business and we take ourselves everywhere we go. So that's why I had to do this.
Yeah, it's so exciting because I won't say how many years, but you've been in the field a very long time.
Mhm.
And so you
Just
worked
a
with
little while.
you worked with so many people, so many successful people who have used um your tools, your things that you teach to scale their business, to become successful, but also just to become richer within, become a richer person, become a more, like you said, secure person where they just feel good about themselves. So talk about some of the things that you do when you work with people.
Well, it really depends who the person is because every single one of us is really unique and with a different baggage, I want to say, and different strength and different beautiful things. So we'll need to look at the whole picture, not just, okay, I want to make more money in my business, or I want a better job, or I want a better relationship. We need to look at the whole thing and see, okay, where do you want to go? Because a lot of people, believe it or not, still have not a super clear, crystal clear vision of where they want to go. They may say, oh, I want to make $1 million, or oh, I want this beautiful relationship. But okay, what does that really look like?
Mhm.
What do you want to feel when you're there? And we kind of want to like kind of step away from those emotional stuff. But in any case, we want to feel happier, we want to feel more fulfilled. So when I work with someone, I'm looking at the whole picture, okay, where you want to go? What's holding you back? Because every single person is held back by something. Because
Mhm.
otherwise, we would not be reading the books, we would not be looking for healing stuff, we would not be looking for strategies and so on.
Mhm.
So I'm looking at the whole picture. I'm like, okay, what's in your way? And oftentimes it's the past in our way because we're not 1 day old or 2 days old. And we had some experiences, we had observations, we had great and not great experiences that need to be looked at.
Mhm.
So whenever we have a more clear picture of what's going on in the life, people can look at their what I call symptoms. So okay, I'm looking at my life here. What bothers me? What I don't like? What I want to improve? And why we're not there yet?
Mhm.
Then we can pull things from the past and see, okay, what has happened that's influencing you right now? Some people call it blocks.
Mhm.
I call it blocks, but I try to stay away from the words because the moment people hear the word blocks, they said, oh, I don't know what's blocking me.
Mhm.
I'm trying to look for my blocks and I cannot put my finger on it. So yeah, just looking for what bothers you, and
Mhm.
where you get frustrated, where you get angry, where you get those unpleasant emotions. And then we just simply start unpacking them. We start
Mhm.
neutralizing the memories. We start looking at the past and just bring them into the present moment and just processing them because most of us simply haven't processed those things. So that's the short version.
Got it. So, it is true that a lot of things from our past affect what we're doing now or how we make decisions. And so we don't want to use the word block.
It's
So
okay.
if someone was just sitting there in their room and thinking through, okay, I know that this bothers me, but how do I access those things in the past? Is there a question they could ask themselves that would help them access what happened before? Because sometimes we actually, I don't want to use the word black, but
Come on, use it
we
whatever you
we
want for
we,
the
we
sake of this
hide
conversation.
we hide those things from ourselves because they're uncomfortable.
Well, as a humans, we always gonna be kind of looking and leaning into feeling better every single time. So, and our mind is doing such an amazing job to protect us from what doesn't feel good.
Mhm.
So, the only requirement that's needed for any person, for that matter, is to be open to whatever may be coming up. Because oftentimes we also block, in a sense, the emotional stuff because it's not pleasant to feel, right?
Mhm.
So as long as you can be open, you can just ask yourself, okay, why does this thing bother me? Why exactly I got angry? Our logical mind will start interfering here and say, oh, this person did this and this. I experienced so and so, right?
Mhm.
Yes, there was the experience, but if that experience or that person didn't mean much to you, you would have probably brushed it off, would not take that emotional route, right? So, okay, what's in that person that really bothers me? Is this that I'm not being heard? Is this that I'm not being important to that person, that I don't feel important, that I feel abandoned, or that they ignore me? So it's just like start looking at the layers, what's really going on, and asking yourself those harder questions. Okay, why do I not feel important? Maybe I'm not feeling capable of doing certain tasks. Why there is this feeling there? And when in the past did I feel that? So if you can pinpoint at least one or several experiences, maybe my mom never paid attention to what I was going to say.
Mhm.
People often don't realize that those small things, my mom ignored me, like our mom didn't pay attention and she had to work, she left, whatever, they impact us today because as children, we process things differently.
Mhm.
And that, let's say, mom not listening to me or not paying attention to what I have to say may simply have created the belief that I'm not important or my voice doesn't matter. And I have to kind of tone it down and push it down. And we convince ourselves as adults that, oh, I already got over that. But the facts in our lives actually tell us the contrary thing. So just asking simple questions. And actually, I have a list of questions in the book to ask ourselves. But whenever you ask him, just be open to whatever comes up and keep asking until you drill down to, you will have this feeling, that don't want to look at, don't want to feel. That's exactly when you need to go a little deeper. So. just asking tons of questions. Mhm.
Exactly. So actually finding that point where you made that decision, the awareness sometimes isn't even enough because we can do different things with that. We can decide to use that as an excuse of why we are acting the way we're acting. uh,
Yeah, awareness can be a little tricky, especially if someone is on the spiritual journey or in deeper levels of that, because then we become a little hyper, I want to say aware, where you see everything and you get overwhelmed.
Mhm.
When you see most of the things that are wrong per se, though technically they're not, they're just feedback to you. So it's kind of like a little tricky road here. Mhm.
Yeah. So if we go back and we see that thing and we don't want to use it as an excuse, how do we transmute it or transform it in some way so that it's helpful and not hurtful? How do we make
Oh,
it
I love the
can't
question.
affect us anymore?
Brilliant question, Kimberly. The answer is actually very simple. If you can pinpoint where you feel like that emotion in your body, all you need to do is oftentimes is just to be with it, is just to sit with it and allow it to process. Because once you feel it, it just comes up to the surface and it automatically starts processing. There are many different tools on that, but
Mhm,
just sitting with it, it's already going to be processing because all that emotion is doing most of the time is just whenever we feel the frustration or anger or whatever unpleasant emotion, it's saying just, hey, pay attention to me.
mhm,
I want to do something here. I'm like, you haven't done anything with me. That's all it's saying is just feedback. So just be and feel that. That's all.
mhm,
Some people like writing a journal. And some people just like typing or processing or connecting with whatever source it is. Ooh, my computer just unplugged, but it's okay. But anything you do, as long as you can connect with that emotion, that's all that matters.
got it. So it's our emotions that are keeping us from moving forward or
Mhm.
keeping us in the same habits of doing certain things that we don't even realize that we're automatically doing.
Unless we specifically stop for a moment and become aware, like, okay, observe ourselves. I often say it doesn't take long for you to figure out, okay, what patterns or habits you're holding. Just take some time for a week or two, set an alarm clock, like an alarm on your phone every hour, just to check in with you
Mhm,
and just say, okay, what am I feeling right now? How am I doing?
mhm,
And then you're gonna start seeing those emotions because then you're going to see your reactions or responses or whatever's going on. Maybe you're working on a project and you keep procrastinating there.
mhm,
Why? Then you can just simply make a note of it, and then you're going to see all the patterns that you're holding. It's not that complicated. We make it complicated for whatever reason because it's not pleasant to feel. That's all it is.
mhm. So let's work with something practical. Let's
Okay.
say you're doing sales calls and you've done
Mhm.
your first two and you've bombed on the first two and you're thinking, okay, this third one, there's something not happening here. So what should I do before I get on that third call? Because obviously I'm in a mindset or something's happening where, I mean, it's just not working.
Okay, so first question I would have for you. Okay, so I love the role plays. Why do you feel that you bombed the first two? What happened?
The people just weren't interested. They just said, no, I'm not interested.
Okay, so not being interested doesn't really mean 100 with 100% certainty that you bombed something.
Mm,
Yes, probably not, right?
sure. They're just
People
not the
may
right.
simply don't need the product or service you're offering. That's one of the options, right?
Hmm.
So it automatically takes the pressure off. Now, another question I would ask, have you done, I mean, on these particular calls, did you do everything that's possible to explain what you're doing? to explain the benefits, like from strategy standpoint, right?
Mhm.
If you explain the benefits and how that person would benefit from working with you or having your product,
Mhm.
and if there was really a need for that product, they just couldn't say no, right? So I would question in the first place, okay, is there really a need in what you're selling? And is that person the right fit for you?
Mhm.
That's what there's a part of people where miss that, where they are not looking at the compatibility in a sense, or if that product is or service is really needed by that person. Now, another thing is you may be sabotaging.
Mhm.
So if you have an example from your life or business, we can look into that. But I would look into, okay, are you really sabotaging here, or there is really no need? And I've sabotaged plenty. I even said, I remember years back, years ago, I had a conversation with someone who wanted to have coffee to see how they can work with me. And the moment they expressed that they want to work with me, I said, "Oh, you don't need to decide right now. Just sleep on it. Just take your time." I could have closed that person right there. But I did not feel good enough or capable enough at that time to help that person to move up. Because in my head, what I had, this pattern where if the person is making more money than I do, I'm not supposed to be helping them because I'm not good enough. So I would be looking at those patterns. Okay, so if you feel you bombed and you really did everything you could, and that probably really matches what that person needs, where are you sabotaging and why?
Mhm.
Okay. And the sabotage is an interesting thing because it can go many different directions here. But most importantly, or the main things that I usually find are like, I'm not good enough. I'm not able to help, so I'm not capable. Who am I to help that person? Or maybe I need to kind of pretend to be someone else in order to sell something. So that would tell me, like, oh, you're probably not in the right place selling the product or service. So, I mean, there are many different ways this can go. So it really needs to be drilled down into what's really going on, why you feel you bombed it. Do you have any ideas why a person might be bombing something? Or maybe you were in that situation sometime.
Right. I think, like you said, self-sabotage is one of the main ones. And, when you talked about that, I thought of you see someone who is very, at least appears to be very successful, and you
Mhm.
think, I know what I have can help them. At the same time, I I get this almost shyness, like, oh, but I don't know how to talk to them to, let them know that this could help them.
I love the shyness because most of my life I considered myself shy. And I could not ever like approach people before or talk to strangers in terms of like selling something.
Mhm.
But here's a trick. If you look at the whole sales process as I'm just gonna share what I have, I'm just gonna share what I do, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna share the stories of people I helped. That's a little different angle. And when we're shifting into that different angle, it takes off the pressure of, I need to close the deal,
Mhm.
right? Because a lot of us have the sales conversations or process in a way that I must make a sale. And guess what? If you're pressuring yourself to make a sale, you're forcing yourself to be someone you're not really.
Mhm.
The other person is feeling that as well. You can feel when you walk, let's say, into the room, whether it's a party networking meeting, you can tell when someone's not in good mood, right?
Mhm.
The same way another person is feeling us. So if we have something off inside, we don't feel good about ourselves, right? Another person is feeling. So there's an automatic red flag in their mind, in their system. I don't know if I want to do that thing with you, right? But as you were speaking, something actually was coming through. And when you shared automatically about the sabotage, what came to my mind was like, is it safe for you to sell?
Mhm.
Is it safe for you to actually work with someone, or do you feel safe? Because safety is a big issue. And that's one of the main reasons why we sabotage. Because we feel we're not going to be okay if someone signs up with us. Because I don't know if I'm going to deliver to the level that person expects. If we could just lower that, let's say, boundary, if I can call it this way, of the expectation from us, and just simply have a conversation, it's going to be very different, and would have very different results and outcomes. I can guarantee, basically.
Well, you were right on with that because I'm all about excellence and mastery, and I just want amazing results with people. And so there's all this conversation about, well, I know how to get them amazing results, but are they going to do what I say? Are they going to, are they going to get the results? I know if they do what I say, they're going to get the results. But when I work with them, I want to know that the person is really committed and maybe I'm trying to assess way ahead of time whether that's going to
Yeah.
happen.
Mhm. Well, assessment is really good strategy, but if you're not listening to your gut, to your intuition, we're gonna just probably start working with people that we're not supposed to work, or who are not ready. And we're gonna sign them up just maybe for very different reasons, right? But if we're looking with expectation for that person to perform to their best capacity or capabilities, it's not up to us
Mhm.
to do that. We can promise them to do everything we can, the best we can, but we cannot take responsibility for their actions. If we can separate that and detach from their actions and outcomes and communicate that, that can bring very different results as well. But I would love really to question, why do you always need to be in that excellence and mastery? What happens if you make a mistake? Are you going to be okay if you made a mistake? If you signed up what we call wrong person to work with,
Mhm.
can you be okay?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question because I yeah, I'm thinking of my reputation and I want to have great results every time. And I don't want someone to say I worked with her and I didn't get the results. So yeah, that makes total sense. And yeah, I have a hard time. You're right. I have a hard time.
Well, I'm not trying to make anyone right or wrong, but we all want the best possible results, right?
Mhm.
But if we're taking responsibility where it's not our responsibility to take, then there is something off there.
Mhm.
Okay, I would look deeper and see what exactly is going on there. Now, reputation, yes, logically, we understand that if someone, let's say, trashes our name, we're not going to look good among other potential clients, right? Or customers. But the only question here is, can you still be okay with that? Okay, so someone says bad things. Someone says, I didn't get what I wanted. Can you still be okay? Are you going to die if they say that?
No, I'm not gonna die.
No. Yeah. Look, I love going into extremes. And the only thing we need to do here is to show our mind, to show that big thing that we carry, that we're still going to be alive. That's a survival need, right? And we're still going to be okay. We're still going to be waking up in the morning. We're still going to be going to bed to sleep. We're still going to be healthy. And whenever that pressure comes off, that yes, I may make a mistake. Yes, I may sign up the client that I cannot fully help, or maybe I missed the signs that that person is not ready, right? But I know I'll still be okay. And that's the safety that our system needs. If we can fully understand that, even like sometimes I say, okay, just write it all down. Get the silliest examples. Like I asked you, like, will you die? No. So if you can show yourself that you're still going to be okay, that takes off the pressure and that gives you the chance to look at things a little differently. Does it make sense?
That makes sense. That is beautiful. That is beautiful.
I love digging.
Yes, you did a great job. So, kind of go over what's in the book. And
Mhm.
also, I know you have a journal that goes along with the book, right?
Well, over the past several months, I published, yes, there's a shadow work journal. This is an angle of this book.
Mhm.
Basically, it's more about journaling and digging deeper. There are a lot of questions and prompts and kind of leading angles in this journey to healing, but mostly in this particular book, I wanted to give people the step-by-step process how to uncover, how to find those symptoms, what I call symptoms, what to do with them, why they're important, why those mind patterns are important, how to start processing emotions that I touched upon a bit earlier, um, and what to do next, basically. And the shadow work is more about looking at the sides of us that we all have, but we only are present with them more like when we're behind the closed doors. So we don't show them like what you say is like, oh, someone's looking showing up as confident, right? Yes, they may show up as confident because they have to wear this mask in public, right? But when they're home behind the closed doors on a couch, maybe when watching TV, they may feel sad but they don't want to always acknowledge. So that's the shadow work workbook where I actually walk through also the a lot of prompts. I love questions, I love prompts because that allows us to dig deeper. And to answer your question about what's in the book, so patterns, identifying beliefs, triggers. Triggers is a big thing there because oftentimes we can feel when we become angry, when we get frustrated, when something doesn't go our way and we get overwhelmed when it's too much to do. So you will learn like what type of triggers to look for. Usually it's the timing, usually it's people, usually it's environment and how to identify them. And big thing in the book is forgiveness. And a lot of people talk about this, but most don't realize that it's not about the actual experience or that person who we think hurt us, but it's more about us. We need to let things go because if we don't, it's us who's actually going to be hurting, not another person. And I'm not saying that whatever happened is okay or right or uh, supposed to be like that. All I'm saying is whatever happened, happened. You cannot change the fact that things happened, but you can change how you see things in the future and how you feel about yourself. Because oftentimes we blame ourselves for, let's say, being with a person, for getting into that situation or circumstance, for doing something that we shouldn't be doing, probably based on whoever rules are. So letting that go. Then there is a blueprint, and there are more tools for and exercises. So yeah, it's full book, a lot of exercises.
That is wonderful. And I know a lot of people would like to get that book, and I'm sure there's other people who would also love to work with you. So at this point, where do we connect with you and where do we find your book?
The book is all over Amazon, Barnes and Noble. So if they type in my name, Renata Mazu, they, the list just gonna pop up. And my website is renatamazu.com. So they can get in touch the same way on social media by my name. So that's the best way to get in touch. Mhm.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And just my last question here, actually, last couple questions. The first one is, what gives you the most happiness and fulfillment in your life at this point?
Oh, at this very moment, probably my daughter, because she just turned 16. And I'm just such a proud mama because I looking sometimes taking a step back and just like looking at the like at a movie that she's become such a beautiful lady and such a heartfelt and yeah, it makes me even emotional because I'm just so proud. She just makes my heart warm.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And thanks for, sharing your book with us and being here and even doing that role play with me. That was great.
Kimberly, anytime, you know me. I
Yeah.
can do that. I love doing those.
Yes. So, one last question. What is your best advice on living an incredible, amazing life?
I love that question. Being kind to yourself. Because the only person that we so often are not kind is ourselves. Because we think that it's okay to ignore us. It's okay to put ourselves in the back seat. But just showing kindness and as cliche as it sounds, some love, that can actually create miracles in our lives. Because then we say to ourselves, we're important, we matter, and we deserve to want and desire whatever dreams could be and actually live them. So just be kind to yourself as much as you possibly can.
All right. Thank you so much, Renata.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. We'll talk to you again soon.
Absolutely.